Welcome to TIMEOUT. I'm Kevin Flaherty alongside Tommy Moe and Nathan Nootbaar. We're going to start with the NFL and the AFC. Who is the team to beat?
That's a great question. And I don't know, this might surprise some people. It's New England Patriots.
That's not even a surprise.
It's the New England Patriots. They've won, what, 6 straight? 6 straight, yeah. And they beat some really good teams, and they got a serious matchup coming in this Monday night against the Bills. And I'm just saying right now, Bill Belichick is going to cook up a formula, and I'm saying it's the Patriots right now, and it's the Patriots for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills have been somewhat underwhelming of a 7-4 team this year. I mean, going forward, I think the Patriots are going to take the AFC East. I mean, it's going to start off with this game here. It's going to be the beginning of the end for the Bills season. I think they missed the wild card.
You think they missed the wild card?
I don't think the Bills make the playoffs. I don't think. I think the Patriots have completely taken control. They're in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny. Mac Jones is doing exactly what Tom Brady did when he was a rookie or in his second year.
That's really scary. That's really scary.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I really don't want that.
I mean, Bill Belichick, I'm sure he's just sitting at home pretty right now. You know, he's gotten, as long as Mac Jones continues to do his thing and is what Tom Brady was, he's got another 15 years secured in New England.
You think Mac Jones is Offensive Rookie of the Year?
That's tough because Jamar Chase has been...
He's been lights out,
he's
too.
He's been pretty good.
But he had an off week last week.
All I'm going to say is I'm going to bring back last year when it was between Justin Jefferson and Justin Herbert. And it proved that this is a quarterback's league. All the awards
MVP,
go to quarterbacks.
Yeah, you're right.
I think Mac Jones takes it because, now, this would be a completely different answer. If this was, last year, if Justin Jefferson won Rookie of the Year over Justin Herbert, I'd be saying Jamar Chase all day.
Mm-hmm.
But based off what we saw last year, I don't see Jamar Chase.
Unless
he's put up insane numbers.
He has to have a couple more insane games.
Obviously
Randy Moss, Thanksgiving, that kind of.
There's a lot of season left to be played, sure, but if the season ended today, I'd give it to Mac just based off these past 6 games. I mean, he's not out here putting up insane Patrick Mahomes type of numbers, but he is winning football games for a team that was supposed to be middle of the pack this year.
All right, and we're going to move on to the NFC now. Who's the team to beat over there?
I mean, you know what I'm saying. It's obviously the Packers, and if it's not the Packers, then you guys are wrong with something. The Green Bay Packers are an unstoppable team right now. They just beat the Rams, and they had...
Just lost to the Vikings, but that's a different story.
Just beat the Rams, one of the top teams in the NFC, and Vikings are, I don't know where they are, but they're later in the pack at least.
Still lost
beat the Rams, and they have 10 starters out. 10 starters.
Okay, I'd have to give credit where credit's due. The Packers are doing good things. They're winning football games. I mean, the Vikings still beat them. I'm not going to let you hear the end of that.
You're not going to, and I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
That was such a... There was some bad... I don't even want to get into it, but I'm just saying we had a great win against the Rams, great bounce-back game, and we have a bye week this week. We come back. We're supposed to get David Bakhtiari, Jair Alexander, and Zadarius Smith, 3 of our top players on our team, all back after our bye week. And I'm just saying... We're ready to make a run.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you could argue that the Rams are the team to beat still, given how they're starting the season. But, the Packers just beat them. They haven't looked as sharp. I mean, they got obliterated by the Titans. You could also make the case for the Cardinals until Kyler Murray got hurt.
And the Packers beat them, though, too.
Right. I'm saying this. The tables have turned in favor of the Packers to run the table in the NFC. Do I think it stays this way? I'm not sure. I think
the only team is the Bucs, and it's the only reason.
You can never bet against.
I can never turn my back on Tom Brady ever.
You can't.
You just can't. It's just not a thing.
All right, we're going to talk about the what's going on with the Browns, man. 4 turnovers, and they scored 3 points off those turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, I pull up the stats right here. 18 for 37. That's not a good number in itself. He's got a touchdown. I'm surprised. I thought he threw an interception. He didn't?
Baker?
No interceptions?
No.
Yeah, no Baker.
It was 2 fumbles.
It was 2 fumbles. That's what it was. Yeah. And the one where it was a screen pass and just dropped out of his hand, come on. That can't happen.
I'm not going to lie. I couldn't watch that game. That game bored me too much in the first half.
Oh, it was so boring.
It was
9
bad.
points in the first half, and they're all off field goals. That's insane.
No, that was not a good game. I think it was really underwhelming for how much this game was hyped up going in. I mean, these two were when this game was scheduled back in, middle of the summer, you would think that, it's the Browns and Ravens in a late season matchup where they're going to be 2 of the top teams in one of the most powerful divisions in the NFL. And the Ravens have been that team still. I mean, I don't think they get talked about as much as they need to be. I mean, they're winning games. Lamar Jackson is better than ever. But the Browns, yeah, they've just been disappointing. And I think the Browns still being solid on defense, but weaker on offense has kind of eliminated that whole like magical appreciation people have for them, that love of just watching them play.
I think that it's also partially Baker's fault. Baker's not playing up to Baker's standard, a good
Baker's also really beat up too, and he's trying to fight through it. Which I don't know if that's the best decision.
But
or not,
I honestly think you especially don't blame it on the defense. Defense played. I mean, Lamar did not play well at all, but the defense played okay because they only let up They only let up 16 points. It's the run game on offense. Look at these stats right here. Kareem had 20 yards and Nick Chubb had 16. Like that's you. If you're the Browns offense and you have two probably one's top 5 and the other one's probably top 12, top 10 if he's the number 1 running back, and they get held to 36 yards. You can't have that happen.
Yeah, the thing is with that offense, they thrive off the run. So when they run the ball good,
then they can do the play action.
Throw and and it messes up the defense. But
once you get the run game going, then you get the play action going, and then you get the passing going, and then everything starts clicking. That's how the Browns are going to win games. But if they can't do that, then everything just falls apart, and then you just saw it there on last Sunday.
Right, and the Bengals coming out of nowhere this year have kind of taken the place of the Browns as that sort of magical America's team out of nowhere type of thing. I mean, I haven't heard a single person say, "Oh, I hope the Bengals lose this week," unless they're playing their own team.
I mean, you look at this. You look at it right here. The Browns are last. Browns are last in the division right now. They're 6-6. Steelers have the ties. I mean, but I'm just saying. Have the Browns had their bye week yet?
No, they have it this week.
Okay, well, they gotta take this bye week. They gotta settle down and they gotta rethink things.
They just gotta get healthy. That's the real thing.
Jack Conklin is out for the season. That's a blow.
Yeah, it's hard. That hurts. Right tackle's huge.
Yeah. So I mean, and we'll see what happens, but the Browns gotta pick it up for sure.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to start picking some teams this week. Vikings-Lions. Nootbaar?
Okay, I mean, this is foolish to even ask. You know I'm a Vikings fan. They're playing a winless Lions. If the Vikings lose this game, I will be depressed for many weeks. They almost lost. They almost lost last time at home. It took a game-winning field goal from Greg Joseph to do so.
That's why only reason I might say Lions is because the Lions just, oh my God, if they have a quarterback, they're not, because they have a star in DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift's an athlete.
DeAndre Swift just came out of nowhere.
He's out, though, I'm pretty sure. I think he's out.
I don't know.
So I'm not going to lie, I haven't looked
into this game at all.
I think, he is out because he's on my fantasy team. He's out. So the Vikings have this unlock. If DeAndre Swift was back, maybe they have a chance, but there's no hope for the Lions now since he's out. So I give this one to the Vikings.
And the Lions are the Lions. They're going to lose anyways. But then again, the Vikings...
But the Lions have been playing pretty good football in the last 3 weeks.
Okay, compared to what? The Steelers without Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. So...
That game was supposed to be a mess
there's no...
All right, moving on, though.
Moving on to the next one, Chargers-Bengals.
See, I think that this is a tough game because Chargers have not been playing well. They have not. They've been just gone the downhill a little bit. And Bengals are up and down. They were on such a hot streak, and then they went down for a little while, and then they're coming back up. I say Chargers bounce back here and get the win.
The whole thing about the Bengals is they had no expectations coming into the season, and then they kind of overachieved. And so this may look like a slump, but they're still playing quality football.
Yeah.
The Chargers have been completely underperforming this year with all the pieces you have in Los Angeles right now. You would think that they'd be putting up a better product than they are. I think the Bengals are going to take this one solely because they're at home.
I mean, it's both are fair arguments. We'll see what happens, I guess.
Yep. We will go on to the Cardinals and Bears.
This is a tricky one because I'm not going to lie. I think that the Bears are going to win this. They're going to come dark horse, and they're going to beat a team that Kyler Murray is back, but he's still struggling with the injury.
That's the big red flag right there, yeah. Is Kyler Murray
if Kyler Murray is Kyler Murray, then the Cardinals will win. But if Kyler Murray is still struggling, can't be as mobile as he is, you're saying Bears could upset.
The Bears have that upset potential. I mean, it all depends on how Justin Fields plays and all that stuff. But
is he playing, though? Because he still has a...
Oh, he might be out.
He might be out because of the ribs.
If we can get an update on that.
I do think that Fields might be out, actually. Because he's still battling the injury that he got in like 2 weeks ago.
Right, okay. I mean, I still like the Cardinals in this. I mean, it's Kyler Murray. It's their normal quarterback. I mean, Colt McCoy is a career backup. He did his job. He did all right. But I think the Cardinals are ready to reassert their dominance. Remember, they have to compete with the Rams for the NFC West. They don't want to be a wild card team. They got a lot to play for still. Yeah. So I'm going to give this one to the Cardinals.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go to the Broncos-Chiefs Sunday Night Football in Arrowhead.
That's an interesting one. I think it's just Chiefs.
I think it's Chiefs, too, because, I don't know, Broncos are up and down. Their defense has been playing pretty well, but the Chiefs are finally getting a little bit of mojo. Patrick Mahomes isn't playing as awful as he was in the beginning of the season, and he's more settled down now. He's more, instead of always shooting the long ball, always trying to make the highlight, he's finally using the checkdowns. He's finally using the 10-yard routes, and then he can finally extend the arm and throw that long ball when he needs to. So I take Chiefs here as well.
All right, Chiefs, too. Patriots-Bills.
Yeah, the last one that I was talking about beforehand. We were just talking about this. I think that it's Patriots because they just, like you said, Nootbaar, they control their own destiny. I think that they're going to take it here.
If you were asking me about this game a few weeks ago, I would have said, oh, Bills, no problem, hands down. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, the Patriots are rolling. They got everything going for them. Everyone's kind of found their role on their team. They know what to do. You have a bunch of no-name guys like that you've never heard of before the season putting up on-par numbers with the rest of the league, and it's solid. They're doing what they need to do to win football games.
Yeah, agreed.
I got the Patriots, too. So we're going to go to the NBA now. Mm-hmm. The Phoenix Suns, 17-game winning streak.
I mean, you look at the Phoenix Suns, and they're just playing unstoppable basketball. Obviously, the Warriors were the favorite in the first 15 games. They were playing unbelievable. Last night, they held Steph Curry, 12 points, one of the worst shooting games he's had all season. Scored 12 points, and the Suns have beat some really good teams. It's not like they're playing awful teams. They beat the Warriors. They beat the Nets. They beat the Knicks, who aren't bad. Cavaliers aren't bad either. Nuggets, Mavericks again. You go up here, Trailblazers. They're playing teams that are not bad. Cavs again.
And what I really like about this team is that these aren't all blowouts. They're winning the close games.
Yeah.
They know how to finish out basketball games, which is crucial, especially when it comes to playoff time. You know, this could be a difference between forcing a Game 7 or going home, stuff like that. If the Suns keep playing how they are, they've kind of found their mojo. They're doing their thing. The Suns could be, once again, another threat to be the NBA Finals. I don't know how. I think a Warriors-Suns series will be really interesting. Again, we still have 60 games left in this long season. Who knows how the tables can turn between now and then, but
I mean, I agree with that. And the only thing is Booker had that first half injury last against the Warriors.
Okay.
So it just depends if he's back, then I feel like, again, they're in the driver's seat, but if he's struggling with the injury, you never know. But
I think Friday night, December 3rd at 10 o'clock, right there, Suns and Warriors. I think that's going to be a huge pivotal game.
Yeah, it's going to show who's really about it.
Because if the Suns are able to beat the Warriors twice in a week, that is just showing that they are the real deal and that they're here to dominate the Western Conference and the rest of the NBA.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to a topic that I do not want to talk about, Ohio State, Michigan.
I want to talk about it, baby. Bring it over here. Bring it here. Michigan finally gets that W, and all I have to say is 2 words. Hassan Haskins.
Oh, they couldn't stop him.
5 touchdowns, 136 yards.
All of a sudden, that defense looks like they were playing Oregon again.
It was unbelievable.
Second week of the season.
And I'm going to be honest, I got scared when Garrett Wilson caught that first touchdown pass because he went up,
you gotta admit,
over Turner. I was like, okay.
That catch and the Jackson Smith-Njigba catch were awesome. Those were good.
Those were unbelievable plays. Garrett Wilson's a freak of nature. He will be missed if is he a senior?
He's a junior.
Oh, he's a junior. Okay, so he has another year unless he goes to draft.
We do not know, but he might go.
I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with. But finally, dude, I've been saying all week, Aiden Hutchinson, he just got Defensive Player of the Year. Michigan is in a perfect spot right now. We just have to beat Iowa. I think that we can do it, and we will get to our first college football playoff. And I'm so excited. So excited.
And the big thing about this, though, is if we can pull up some stats on this game real quick.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed when I was watching this game is, especially in the second half, as they got the run game just absolutely at will with literally nothing else that they'd want. Look at Cade McNamara. Not even 20 pass attempts in the game. And I'm pretty sure in the third quarter, he was already at like 16 or 17. That kid did not need to throw the ball. They knew exactly what they needed to do with this team, and that was just to run the ball, do what they wanted to do, like exert their will, as they say, onto Ohio State. I mean, that was the easiest game for McNamara's life. He just had to take the snap and hand it right off. Yeah. No stress on him at all. And with Hassan, what's his last name again?
Hassan Haskins. Yeah.
Haskins, yeah. Hassan Haskins, he just ran the ball. He was just running the ball so efficiently that, like, all the nerves of the big game went out the window. The 100,000 crowd didn't bother him anymore. Because when you're balling out and doing so good like that, you think you're on top of the world and that no one can stop you. Yeah. And so that takes so much pressure off your quarterback. I mean, McNamara, he's a good quarterback, but there's been times
did
this
what he
year he's
had to
been a
do.
little scary.
Yeah, he did what he had to do. That's all that matters. I mean, and then you just look at the scoreboard. The third quarter. That's always the most important game. You're talking about basketball, you're talking about football, any sport, that middle to end category, third quarter in this standpoint, that's what sealed us the game. You look at it, 14-0, we outscored them in the third quarter, and that's what really put it away.
Right. Ohio State, their offense wasn't terrible. It's just
offense played well.
Michigan was keeping them off the field. Like look at C.J.
this.
Stroud.
Over almost 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, that's not a bad game. It was the defense.
Heisman Trophy winner right there.
I'm going to give it, you do have the Heisman Trophy winner unlocked. That's 100%.
I mean, everybody says Bryce Young, but
No.
he just played against Auburn.
It's definitely C.J. Stroud.
He did horrible.
Let's talk about that game for a second, though. The Auburn-Alabama game.
Because that game, the only reason that I wouldn't say Bryce Young is because they did score 24 points, but it's because Bryce Young scored, I think it was 17 of those, or like 3 touchdowns in overtime.
Yeah, two touchdowns in overtime. It was 10-10 going into overtime. Auburn kind of shot themselves in the foot by going out of bounds that one play and allowed Alabama enough time to make a driving touchdown. Alabama didn't win that game. Auburn lost the game.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Bryce Young, 50 passing attempts. Holy cow. They have no run offense, but and then 317 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That interception.
We have one more topic.
Crucial game for you.
Your favorite.
Yeah, we got to. Yeah,
Oklahoma
we have to.
State
We have to.
And Oklahoma.
Where is it?
Finally, they get the win.
Just go to the Big 12 real quick. Let's talk about Oklahoma
Big 12.
State.
You want the Big 12?
Yeah. Oklahoma State had a very good game. Well, actually, I don't even want to say that. They had a good game against Oklahoma. They did what they needed to do to win. They gave them 9 points early in the third quarter. It was 24-24 at halftime, right? And then immediately right out the gate, a fumble turns into a safety, and then a botch punt turns into a touchdown. They're down 33-24, but what I love to see was Oklahoma State's defense absolutely control Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
No offensive points scored in the second half.
Yeah, they were dominant in that entire second half.
Spencer Sanders and Jalen, what's his last name again? Oh.
It doesn't matter.
They're running back.
Yeah.
They did exactly what they needed to do. They did just enough to get themselves the lead. The defense had 2 crucial stops in their territory in that fourth quarter.
Yeah. And I think that the best thing for Oklahoma State that's going on right now is they have a 5-game win streak.
Yeah,
they're 5-game win streak. They're on top of the world right now.
Their one loss was to Iowa State, who is better than their record shows, on the road. They already beat Baylor this year, but I think the big thing was last night with the College Football Playoff Committee, and that was Oklahoma State leaping Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean that's huge.
That was
huge.
a big talked about thing, was if Notre Dame was going to hold that 5 spot or not.
That's basically going into the next topic we have. It's where do you place on the rankings? You have Michigan, Georgia's a lock, obviously. Michigan wins, lock. Cincinnati, they're not playing another game, right? Or do they have another game?
Another game.
They have another game, but Houston, they probably should beat them. If Alabama loses 2 losses and Oklahoma State wins, you can't keep Alabama in there.
No, Alabama's not going to stay in. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, Oklahoma State's going to make the jump.
Georgia's going to beat Alabama. We know that. I'm willing to just say that. I'm not even worried about a jinx. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't care about what Cincinnati happens because what's going to happen is Alabama's going to have 2 losses and no conference title. They're going to fall down to 5, 6, or 7 or whatever. They're going to be in the Sugar Bowl. And then Oklahoma State's going to sneak into that 4, maybe 3 spot. Who knows how that happens. And I would love to see Georgia versus Oklahoma State.
So would I.
The top 2 defenses in FBS football.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was unbelievable. So, well, I mean, we'll see what happens. This next week is going to be what's going to dictate it. So, yeah.
All right, thank you for joining us on this show of Timeout. Have a good day.
Attaboy, Kevin.